Hello and welcome back to the Leeds United FM20 save. Hope you're all doing well today. I'm looking forward to today's episode where we've got some Europa League football to play in the knockout stage. Because of course we won our group, we go straight into the second knockout round of the Europa League. And we've been drawn against Valencia, which is going to be a really, really tough game. And what's also going to be a tough game is the league game coming up first against Chelsea. Before we get into those games, though, I just want to say a massive thank you to you lot again. I know I say it most days now, but the amount of support this series has been getting, the amount of views every day this is getting, the amount of likes this is getting every single day is really blowing my mind for the time of year that it is right now. So thank you ever so much. If we can get another 250 likes on today's video, that would be massive. And if I could ask a big favour of you all, if you could all look at the link in the description to 2Game where you can pick up a copy of FM21. I'm partnered with 2Game this year, and every time that you guys buy a copy of Football Manager 2021 through that link, I get a bit of commission. And this year it's a bigger bit of commission than it was last year for me. So it really, really helps me out. So if you guys want to help support the channel and you want to get FM21, I would recommend getting it through that link down there because it does help me out hugely. 2Game send you a code to Steam. You put that code into Steam and it unlocks the game as if you were buying it from other online stores and things like that. So it's just waiting in your library for you for when FM21 releases, which the beta is probably going to come out around the 10th of November, I'd imagine. So if you want to be ready and waiting for the 10th of November or so when the beta should be coming out, then get yourselves down, link in the description, get your game from 2Game, and it all helps everyone out. So there's been a bit of change in our form since last episode. Last episode was terrible. January was awful, and we managed to win a game, actually, one of the only few games that we won in January against Derby County, but then obviously lost to Manchester United, which, by the way, was pointed out to me in the comment section that Van Voort, our goalkeeper, made a lot of saves in that game. As I had a look, reports, form, he made 21 saves in that game against Manchester United. The actual real-life record is only 14 saves in a game, which is set by it's Tim Krul and, what's he called? De Gea. Both of them have got those 14 saves in different games, so they both hold the joint record. But Van Voort has just blown that out the water, those 21 saves in the game. So it does show he's a pretty decent keeper. He has remained in goal ever since, and as you can see, form has turned around quite nicely. We started off with a 3-1 victory against struggling Leicester. Joe Gelhardt, Nassi Unava and Valenzuela got the goals in that 3-1 victory. We then had a 1-1 draw with Tottenham, which we got very lucky actually not to lose. Kenneth Taylor scored a penalty late on, whilst Van Voort made lots of good saves in that game. So rather lucky in that fixture to walk away with a point, but we absolutely battered Burnley, knocked the doors down and beat them with Holozek and Bartel Barisic getting the goals in that game. We then had a rather disappointing 1-0 loss to Everton, the only loss in this little period that we've had, so that was rather frustrating, but we did bounce back with a 6-2 victory over Derby County. Valenzuela gets one, Joe Gelhardt got two, Carlos Elena got one, Thomas got one, and there was also an own goal in there for us as well. Before we got one over Norwich and we beat them in the 80th minute with Bartel Barisic's goal in the FA Cup 5th round. So last season's winners, Norwich, are knocked out the competition, and we got a little bit of revenge against them for battering us a couple episodes or so ago. It's not really helped us out in the table that much though. We remain 7th right now. In fact, I think we may have dropped down from 6th to 7th from last episode because Bournemouth have overtaken us, although they do have, or we have a game in hand on them, I should say. Arsenal behind us by a single point, Everton by 2 points, Wolves by 3 points as well. So it is still pretty tight around the top half of the table. So we need to keep our form going if we want to be in the top 7. But it's going to be hard to get the win today because Chelsea, as you can see, sitting in 2nd place right now, are hunting down Liverpool looking for the title. And with players like Mbappe in their team, Chelsea are always going to be a big threat against us. But I reckon we've got enough about us to see off Chelsea today, particularly with Van Voort in goal. He's been really, really good for us. Not been keeping many clean sheets, but hasn't been making many mistakes, so good to have him in goal. Oliza, Josko, Ferro and Tomiyasu make up that back line with Thomas, Valenzuela and Taylor in that midfield sort of trio, I suppose. McNeil and Renier out on the wings, and Joe Gelhardt is going to be leading the line for us today. Fingers crossed we get the result we need. So kickoff is upon us, and first things first, it's a very quiet start to the game, I must say. 15 minutes in already, not a single highlight, very few shots. If we can keep the game like this for the entirety of the game, that works out very nicely for us, I must say, as Thomas looks to come forward on the ball out wide towards Renier. Renier coming forward, come on lad, let's find a cutting ball through, and he has found that cutting ball through into Dwight McNeil, but the angle was a bit too tight for him, and it's a good save from the keeper. Resulting corner though, Valenzuela puts the ball in the middle. It's cleared though only as far as Taylor. Thomas gets it back to Taylor, and Taylor It keeps hold of possession quite nicely, but it does keep getting niggled. Just go down, lad, win the free kick or something like that. And he doesn't do either of those things because we lose the highlight and now we've lost possession. And it's Chelsea coming forward. Is that Alexander Isaac on the ball for them, number 16? Let's double check this one out as Van Voort makes a decent save. That's a terrible ball. What was he playing at there? Luckily, we do win possession back and Joe Gelhardt gets it down to Renier. Renier, if he can find that ball through to Gelhardt, it would be a fantastic ball. It's not quite through to him and we've lost possession again. 2 wayward passes in this highlight have lost possession twice. We've got to work really, really hard to get it back, but I'm not so confident that we will get it back at this rate because, I don't know, we're just making too many mistakes like that. A good challenge, but then there's a terrible pass which goes straight to Leroy Sané of all players. Number 6 on the wing. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it puts it over the bar at least. And it is Alexander Isaac playing for Chelsea. And I've just noted they've also got Martin Odegaard playing for Chelsea. They've literally signed... They've also got Jadon Sancho. Where's Mbappe? Is Mbappe on the bench? Mbappe isn't on the bench, so I guess he's injured. But they've also got Timo Werner as well. They've signed everyone, haven't they? Yeah, Mbappe's got some pulled ankle ligaments, so he's missing this game, which is very lucky for us, I must say. But they have got a really good side, particularly the attack. But half-time's 0-0, and that's not a bad result for us so far. If we can keep that going in the second half, who knows? That would be pretty decent. It would certainly give us a bit of confidence going into the Valencia game. It's difficult against Valencia because they were a Champions League team who came third in their group. And they've already won a knockout game in the Europa League, that first knockout round to qualify to play against us. So that's going to be really difficult to play. Hopefully we've got enough about us to see them off. But with 20 minutes or so to go in this Chelsea game, this is the first highlight of the second half. And we managed to clear the ball just about as Renier gets it to Gelhardt just about. Come on, Joe Gelhardt, sort this one out. Let's get down the wing as he can't... Oh, he does get it to Renier. He gets it to Renier. Renier, go on, lad. Saved by the keeper. Rudiger nearly puts it in the back of his own net. And we get a throw-in from that resulting clearance, which we've lost the possession of. Again, we keep doing stupid little mistakes like that. And Alexander Isaac gets to the other end of the pitch and scores the goal. Big issue in the midfield there with that. Oh, you hate to see it. Was that directly from a throw-in as well? It was. Valenzuela just ignored the ball pretty much. Mount gets in, Isaac gets forward, and it's a very easy goal for them. 13 composure, 12 concentration. He shouldn't be letting that happen to himself. He should not be letting that happen to himself. So we are going to take off the pitch. Not because of that, because he's not played well entirety for today's game. So Carlos Elena will come on for him. We'll swap those two over. Gelhardt will come off for Barisic and Holozek will come on for Renier as well. We'll also go a little more attacking. I feel like we can get something out of this game. I feel like we deserve something out of this game. So let's try and push for it as Olizer into McNeil, back to Olizer. Come on, let's put a ball in the middle. Holozek's there. Is that a penalty? It's a penalty. Brilliant. We've got a penalty straight away. It is going to be Elena taking this one. Must be the best penalty taker we've got. They've obviously set it like that. And Elena does put it in the back of the net for his 9th of the season from centre of midfield. It's absolutely incredible. Well done, Carlos, for that. But we've got 15 minutes now. 15 minutes is great penalty off the post, to be fair, to get something out of this game now. Come on, lads. Let's get creative. I believe in us. If we can get a result against second in the table Chelsea, that is some good credentials for us going into the later stage of the season. As the corner comes in, McNeil's headed just over the bar, which gives me some very bad flashbacks to last episode or wherever it was when we kept putting balls over the bar. I think it was against Ajax 2 episodes ago. But we do manage to get a 1-1 draw against Chelsea. And to be fair, that's not a bad result given how good Chelsea are and where they are in the table. We'll take that. That performance as well was also miles better than last episode as well. I mean, we outshot Chelsea there. That you couldn't see that happening last episode, could you? But weirdly, we've just turned things around and it's worked very well for us through February. Football Manager is so weird sometimes. So weird sometimes. Might also actually be a very good time to just briefly talk about some players who are currently out on loan. Sort of names to the future that we haven't really spoken about for a little while. Archie Brown, for example. We signed him from Derby a few seasons ago. And he's developing at a good rate. But wherever he goes, he scores goals. He's been on loan 3 different seasons. Stockport in the National League, 13 goals in 45 games. In 42 games for Scunthorpe, he got 14 goals. In only 29 games for Mansfield, he's now got 12 goals, 14 in all competitions. He's absolutely running riot wherever he goes. Unfortunately, he's just not progressing quite to the level that we need him to. Apparently, he's only championship potential in future, which is rather frustrating for us. But if he scores goals wherever he goes, we can sell him for a lot of money. But currently League 2 level, he could be used as rotation in 2 or 3 seasons' time. Onino is having a very good season at Bristol Rovers, as well as you can see, 5 assists and 9 goals in 36 appearances. Bristol Rovers are currently only 13th in League One, so that's a very, very respectable return for the youngster there. Again, he's got Premier League potential. He's currently at Sky Bet Championship level right now, so playing in League One, under his level a little bit, because at the start of the season he was sort of League One level, but next season, Onino could be in and around the first team on that right wing. The issue is Holozek, and the issue is Renia. That's the issue that he's got in front of him. Give it 2 or 3 seasons, we're going to have such a good group of young players that have come through, worked their way up the ranks and in and around our first team. But we now need to switch our attention to Valencia in the Europa League second knockout round. We need to get a good result in that game, as apparently all 3 of February's young players of the month come from Leeds, first, second and third. You love to see that. Fantastic stuff, lads. Brilliant, as apparently Valenzuela is also third in goal of the month. Archie Brown is player of the month in League 2 as well. We spoke about him earlier on. He looks like a great little talent and scores plenty of goals. So it's a good time to be a young player at Leeds United. As I was saying though, Valencia is going to be a very, very tough challenge. And it's made even harder right now because Van Voort has just pulled his hamstrings and is out for 2 weeks or so. We would give him injections, but he's out for longer after that. And I'd rather not lose him for longer. So let's get him out of the team. It's fine because we've got Farinez, who's a very capable goalkeeper as well. But Valencia so far this season had a very weird Champions League group. They managed to beat Slavia Prague and beat Porto, but then also lose to Slavia Prague, lose to Porto, draw with Inter, and it's a bit of a weird group for them. I feel like they should have done a bit better than that, but they did manage to beat Olympiacos 2-0. So they are a decent side. They know what they're doing. They know how to play football. They know how to win European fixtures. So we're going to have to do our very, very best to beat them. Must have missed it somewhere as well, but Gelhardt also sustained an injury. He's out for 2 weeks or so. That was sustained like 5 days ago or so. So that's a bit frustrating. Let's get him off for Bartol Barisic and then get him off the bench for Gutierrez. Obviously, Van Voort's got to come off for, where is he down here? Farinez. I'd like to take Valenzuela off for, if we can find him, Calvin Phillips, who's just come back from, is that risky? He's just come back from injury. I don't want to risk him actually. Let's put Carlos Elena on instead and swap him and Taylor over. We'll do that change. But I don't want to change too much from a team that got a very good result against Chelsea. So that's what we'll leave it as. Fingers crossed we get a win. So as kickoff is upon us here today, it's very important to remember that in the Europa League at the moment, in this sort of version of the universe, it's only a one-legged affair in the second knockout round. I think it goes to 2 legs for the quarterfinals and semi-finals, I think, if I can remember correctly. But this is just a one-legged affair. So we need to get a superb result here. We have to win, otherwise we're out the competition. And Tomiyasu coming forward early on gets into Renia. Renia hits the post. How unfortunate is that in the first few minutes of the game? But if we can keep creating chances for ourselves like that, I'm pretty confident in our ability to win, as Taylor again thinks we're playing rugby, but it's not. Rather narrow formation from Valencia, although their 3 attacking midfielders probably can go quite wide. It's actually a weird formation to play against if they're playing like that, actually. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, but Dwight McNeil coming forward. We're having some success down the wings. His cross is blocked, but Renia's shot, assisted by Kenneth Taylor, is Renia's 10th goal of the season. You adore to see that. Not love it, you adore to see that, which is a new phrase from me, which I'm never going to use again because I don't like it. You love to see it. That's much better. I feel a lot more confident saying you love to see it. Let's never say that again, Tom, as Renia's goal. Phew, what a banger. And I must say, I think we've been given the home advantage because we won our group. I think that's what it is. We won our group, which is why we've been given the home advantage here. That kind of makes sense to me because I was going to say it's a lot easier playing at home than it would be in Valencia. If we were in Valencia for this one-legged affair, then that would be very, very tough. But McNeil finding a lot of success down that left-hand side of the pitch. Somehow Barisic messes that up. I think it was a real... Obviously caught him off guard a little bit because it sort of bounced around the area just a little bit, but really should have put that on target and scored his goal there, which he hasn't quite been able to do. As I thought we'd been picked up a free kick. We haven't picked up a free kick. It was a shot which has gone wayward and been blocked only as far as Oliza. Oliza across to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu into Renia. Renia looking for his 11th of the season, his 2nd of the game, gets it, and with 36 minutes gone, we're 2-0 up. I must say as well, Valencia were a Champions League team earlier on in this season, and we are decimating them. Imagine what we could do if we were in the Champions League. But to be 2-0 up against Valencia at this point of the game gives me a lot of hope. Gives me a lot of confidence going into the later stage of this competition if we can end up winning this. that we've got a great chance of winning the Europa League this season. And with 75 minutes gone on the clock, we'll make some changes. We'll bring Holozek on up front to play as a striker. Elena's not the best of games either, so Ross Barkley will come on and Zagre will come on at left back to give Holozek a little bit of a rest. He's played very well, he's quite tired. But I don't think the changes are needed really because the team have played very, very well. We're not going to change the game around or anything like that. And with 10 minutes or 5 minutes or so to go now, Holozek, can he make his mark on the game? Not quite. He can't get into the area, unfortunately. But playing out from the... I'm not sure what that was about. That was a weird highlight. But we've got another chance to come forward now as we lose possession from another throw-in. Throw-ins seem to be a bit of a weakness of ours, as we've seen from today's episode. Obviously, conceded the goal against Chelsea because of a throw-in. Just lost the ball because of a throw-in there. But is this going to be another goal? It's a hat-trick for Renier, who's in the right place at the right time there. The ball was tackled, but just went straight into the path of Renier, who I think was offside otherwise. Came off a defender there for Valencia. I think passed it into his path really, and the keeper way out of position in the meantime. Wasn't actually offside, but it was a good slide tackle which put it into Renier's path. Keeper nowhere near it. A hat-trick for him, the second hat-trick this season that we've had on camera as well. He loves playing it for you guys, as you can tell, so hopefully he scores hat-tricks every episode from here on out as we win 3-0 into the quarterfinals. Well, that was a very good result for us. We're joined by Bilbao, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Dortmund, Atletico Madrid, Ajax, who we beat in our group, of course, Leipzig and Sevilla. Okay. I presume because everyone's played just then, the draw should be like any day now. It's not. The draw's not until quite a while away. Well, in that case then, who's up for playing Liverpool on camera then? Should we do it? Let's get Liverpool done on camera and then we'll see the draw and then we'll finish up today's episode. Or is the game now trying to tell me that's a very bad decision as Josko picks up a 2-week injury for a pulled abdominal muscle? That's not very good. Josko, we're going to miss you. So Josko obviously has to come off for Varane, and Varane will swap out with Jean-Claude Todibo on the bench. Thomas is looking quite tired, so we're going to swap him over with Taylor, and then Taylor will come off for Valenzuela, and then we'll take Thomas off the... In fact, we'll take Barkley off the bench for Calvin Phillips. I want to bring him on at some point. But again, it's a winning team at the moment, a team playing very, very well, so I don't want to make too many changes. So we'll leave it at that. So for the third time today, kickoff is upon us against Liverpool this time. So we've had really tough games in today's... This was a bad idea, Tom. This was a bad idea. 1-0 down to Liverpool inside of 3 minutes. Not ideal. I've just realised as well, the green screen is now breaking behind me. Like, what's the issue with this? Why does it not want to work and play ball? Obviously, it's telling me this is a bad idea to do another game. That's what it's trying to tell me. Might be a chance for us to come forward on the ball right now, though, as Kenneth Taylor loses possession. How many misplaced passes have we had this season, which end up leading to a goal? And I know we've had a misplaced pass there, but Farinez, how is he not winning that ball off Brewster there? How is he not winning that ball? I mean, okay, defensive error, yes. But what was Farinez doing at this point? He's got the angle right down, and he just... So annoying. Kenneth Taylor does get the blame for that because he's down to a 5 rating, so the game thinks Kenneth Taylor is at fault for that one. And he is, because he misplaced the pass. But, like, Farinez doesn't help himself, does he? He doesn't help himself. And I think that's my biggest gripe with him. He's now dropped down to a 4.9. I don't think I've ever seen... 4.8! Have you ever seen a lower rating in Football Manager? All he did was do one bad pass and suddenly that's affected this whole... I mean, we'll take him off. Let's get him off the pitch. Weirdly, I think we've actually played better in this game than we did against Manchester United. Defensively, at least. United, we conceded so many shots. Obviously, this time, not quite so many, but our defensive display hasn't been brilliant, but it's better than the United game, I reckon. I think. I'd like to think so, at least. I'd like to think we've improved since then. When that goal went in the 3rd minute, I thought this was going to be a very long game to watch. And it still was a long game to watch, because there were plenty of Liverpool highlights, but at least we only lost 2-0. It's not the worst result in the world, that. Unfortunately, though, Bartel Barisic is now only 5 appearances away from us having to pay Dinamo another £3.5 million for his transfer, which is a bit annoying. I think we're very close to having to pay Sparta Prague a bit more money as well for Holozek for scoring, like, a certain amount of league goals as well. So we're going to have a big payout at some point soon, I think. But at least we get to see the Europa League quarter-final and semi-final draw. So first up is the quarter-final, and we are going to be drawn against Ajax. Okay, well, we've beaten Ajax and we drew against them, but we had the better of them in that game. So I am really confident going into that quarter-final. That actually, I think, looking at the teams that are left in this competition, is the nicest draw we could have had. Maybe Bilbao. But I think Ajax or Bilbao are the easy. I mean, I do apologise to Ajax fans. I know you're good, but we thrashed you earlier on in the season, so I know that we can beat you. And then we have to do the semi-final draw as well. So, Atletico Madrid or Seville against RB Leipzig or Borussia Mönchengladbach, which means we get to play Borussia Dortmund or Athletic Bilbao. Bilbao, please pull off a blinder and beat Borussia Dortmund for us. But I must say, this could have been harder. I'd much rather be in this side of a draw than that side of a draw. I don't want to be too confident, but it's tasty, that draw. And luckily for us, it seems like both legs of the Europa League quarterfinals are drawn at the same time. So, next episode, we will do both legs of Ajax. And then we might, if we've got enough time, do Norwich as well as a bit of a grudge match against them because we seem to hate them this season. So that could be quite interesting too. So what an end of the season this is shaping up for. We've got a great chance in the Europa League. We've got a great chance. So thank you ever so much for watching today. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And of course, if you have done, please do drop a like on today's video for me. I would massively appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, of course. And please check out the affiliate links down below as well. They help me out massively. But other than that, thank you ever so much. See you next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.